Here's the one thing that makes 90% of men fail with women. They walk into a first date trying way too hard to impress. The truth is, connection matters way more than perfection. If you get these 5 things right, you'll never leave a date thinking, I should have done that differently. Welcome back to Keep Calm, Margo, your go-to place for dating and relationships advice from a woman's perspective. Tip 1. Dress well, but like yourself. Alright guys, let's start with something simple but powerful. How you look when you show up. I'm not talking about being a male model or spending thousands on clothes. I'm talking about presenting the best version of yourself. Why? Because science tells us first impressions happen fast, shockingly fast. A study published in the Psychological Science found that people form opinions of you in as little as 7 seconds. Think about that. Before you even get the chance to tell her your name, she's already making judgments about your style, grooming, and how much effort you've put in. But here's the mistake guys often make. They either underdo it, showing up like they rolled straight out of bed, or they overdo it, dressing like they're heading to the Oscars. Neither one works. You don't want her to think you don't care, but you also don't want her to think they are pretending to be someone you are not. Here's the golden rule. Dress like yourself, but at your best. If you usually wear jeans and t-shirt, fine, but make it a nice pair of jeans, clean sneakers, and a shirt that actually fits. If you are coming from work, a crisp business casual look works perfectly. The point is to fit the vibe of the date. Remember, the way you show up visually communicates respect, not just for her, but for yourself. Be honest, guys, how long do you actually spend picking out a date outfit? 5 minutes? Half an hour? Drop your numbers in the comments. I'm curious. Tip 2. Pick the right place. Now let's talk location, because where you go can make or break the vibe. Too many guys think they need to go all out for a first date. Fancy dinners, candlelight, the whole 9 yards. Sounds romantic, right? Wrong. Here's the problem. A super fancy dinner locks you into hours of formality with someone you might not even click with. Now you are stuck for another 2 hours or a 4-course meal and a bill that makes you question your life choices. Not fun. Instead, you want a spot that's public but comfortable. Somewhere you feel relaxed and safe. Conversation friendly. If you can't actually talk, then what's the point? Casual but intentional. It should scream, I didn't try, but it also shouldn't feel like a marriage proposal. So, skip the movies. Sitting in silence in a dark theater while awkwardly sharing popcorn is not a date, it's torture. Save that for later, when you already know you like each other. Great first date ideas! Coffee shops, brunch spots, casual restaurants, outdoor walks, even mini golf or a casual activity. Something fun but low pressure. Here's a little secret. Picking the right spot sets the tone for everything that follows. If you go somewhere comfortable and conversational, you'll be more relaxed, more open, and more likely to enjoy yourself. But here's the thing, you also don't want to show all your cards in the first date. Too much, too soon can backfire. I'll explain why in just a second when we talk about conversation. Tip 3. Conversation is everything. Okay, so you are dressed well, you picked a good spot. Now what? You've got to actually talk. And let me be brutally honest here, conversation can make or break a first date faster than anything else. Here's a big mistake I see men make. They either talk only about themselves, turning the date into a one-man show, or they act like they are reading from an interview script, firing off question after question with a zero flow. Both are huge turnoffs. A great first date conversation is balanced. You share, she shares, you ask, she asks. It feels natural, not forced. And here's where science backs this up. A study in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that people who show genuine curiosity and practice active listening are rated as significantly more attractive than people who just talk about themselves, even if the self-absurd ones were better looking. That's right, curiosity beats looks every time. So how do you do it right? Ask open-ended questions. What's something you've always wanted to try? Instead of, do you like movies? Pay attention to what makes her light up. If she gets excited talking about travel, dive into that topic. Share your own stories too, just don't dominate. And guys, for the love of all things holy, don't make it an interrogation about things you stalked on her Instagram. If you saw she has a dog, fine, but don't ask about the dog's name like you just discovered it. That's creepy. Also, avoid controversial topics on the first date. Politics, exes, deep dramas. Save those for later when you are built some trust. Keep it light, curious, and positive. What's the worst first date question you've ever been asked or asked someone else? Drop it in the comments, let's all cringe together. And speaking of cringy, there is one moment on the first date that makes almost every guy panic. I'll tell you what it is and how to handle it in just a minute. Know when to end or extend the date. Here is something most men don't think about: timing. Knowing when to gracefully end the date or extend it can be the difference between a polite goodbye and I can't wait to see you again. That's why picking a flexible occasion is so smart. Let's say you go for a brunch. When you are done eating, that's a natural end point. At that moment, you read the vibe. Is she leaning in, laughing, clearly enjoying herself? Great, you can extend the date, maybe a walk, grabbing ice cream or checking out a local event. But if the vibe feels off, she's glancing at her phone, giving short answers, end it gracefully. Thank her, pay the bill and move on, don't drag it out. Now let's talk about that moment I teased earlier, the bill. Nothing is more awkward than when the check lands on the table and both people hesitate. Here's my advice. On the first date, just pay. Take the initiative, be confident and make it clear you've got it. Most women find it attractive when a man takes the lead here. Later on, if you keep dating, spilling things is perfectly fine. But for the first date, be the guy who reaches first. Trust me, watching two adults arm wrestle over a check is not the kind of chemistry you want. And speaking of chemistry, what you say at the very end of the date matters more than you think, because it sets up whether she'll actually want to see you again. Let's break that down. Tip 5. Be clear about next steps. Alright, you've had a good time. Now comes the final and maybe most important part. What happens after? Here is the key. Be clear, be honest and don't play games. If you are not feeling it, don't promise another date. Be polite, thank her and part ways respectfully. But if you are interested, clarity is everything. First, send the after date text. Seriously, don't overthink it. Something as simple as, hey, I had a great time today. It was awesome getting to know you. That's it. Why does this matter? Because women notice confidence. Being bold enough to say you enjoyed yourself is far more attractive than playing the wait 3 days to text game. That rule is outdated and honestly a little immature. From there, if the energy feels mutual, suggest seeing each other's again. But don't make yourself seem overly available. No, I'm free anytime, just say the word. That sets up unrealistic expectations and kills the mystery. Instead try, I'd love to see you again. What does your week look like? That way, you show interest, but you also respect your own time. Do you prefer when someone texts you right away after a date, or do you like a little waiting period? Hit that like button if you think confidence beats games. So there you have it, 5 tips that will turn your first date from nerve-wracking to natural. Dress like the best version of yourself. Pick a place that sets the right vibe. Master the art of conversation. Know when to end or extend the date. And be clear about what comes next. Remember, it's not about being perfect, it's about being present and genuine. If this helped you, hit that thumbs up, it lets me know you want more videos like this. And if you are new, don't forget to subscribe to Keep Calm Margo for weekly advice on dating, attraction and relationships from a woman's perspective. Now I want to hear from you. What's your best or worst first date story? Drop in the comments, because if we can't laugh about these moments, what's the point? Thanks so much for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!